my dad did not tell me that he was going to be passing by with the machine 4 times last night. So I woke up at 6 this morning. I'm the only house on my side of the block that's fully shoveled. And now I'm going to hear shit from this dude when I see him later. He's going to be like, oh, I had to get up at, 2 in the morning and shovel your house. It was snowing outside. I was like, no, Pop, you did not have to do any of those things. The weather was still very much against you, and that should have been a sign to stay inside. And your son, who's in his 30s, would have been more than happy to handle that at the appropriate time. But yeah, I'm not going to win that argument because he still shoveled the snow. All I did was clear the 4 steps in front of my building, so he's got like the sidewalk that he shoveled. Plus, technically, he shoveled like half of the block to get to my house. So, he's like, I had to get to your house. I had to go over 1.5 feet of snow, and I can't just drive my machine over that. So I'm clearing up the whole neighborhood because of you. I already know how the speech is going to go. But, I'm a little annoyed.
But also, wait, hold on. But he's using a machine?
Yeah, and that's...
Okay, so what?
I feel...
He's using a machine.
I feel, right, that's my logic too, but I can't throw that in his face. I feel like that's losing, like, because he's going to be like, oh, Gastor, I walk with a cane. So you're right. I did get the machine out with one arm, okay? I tried that shot. I tried that anyway. I can't win. So.
Okay, well, you can definitely say that all weather reports mention that it would snow nonstop from Sunday night to Tuesday morning, possibly afternoon. So, like, he didn't have to be out there in the middle of the night because it was kind of an exercise in futility because it wasn't going to stop snowing.
Thank you. That's all I've been trying to get.
I mean, I knew that. I knew that.
I went upstairs. I talked to my tenants. I was like, yo, listen, y'all going out? And they're like, nah, don't be ridiculous. It's fucking snowing outside. I'm like, exactly. Cool. Just want to make sure, just in case y'all had like, some random issue that required you to go out, I was shoveled in. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it as is. And then I waited till the next day. I thought I did all of my stuff. I wake up. I was hyped too, Sha. Like, I overdid. I went to bed early last night. I had oatmeal this morning. Like, yo, I'm gonna do this.
Right.
Carved up. I carbo loaded for this shovel, and I had all this energy for nothing. I shoveled the shit out of my steps. Like, that's all I did.
Sure. I bet they're extremely clear.
Yeah, it was just 4 steps. That's all I had to do. Everything else is done by this old man.
Well, man. I've been watching the way my apartment is set up. It's one of those like townhouses where there's the main house and then an apartment that looks to be at street level or just below street level, right? So I'm in the bottom, the just below street level apartment. I'm in like the garden apartment, they call it. Okay. So half of the apartment is like underground, and then the other half is,
shouts to the real estate
to the street.
industry right there.
And so what that means is the stairs to my landlord, basically, who owns the house, upstairs to his house. It's like 2 floors, I think, in his house. There are stairs, and then there's the expanse of the length of the house, which is from the street. That's basically, their house on top of our house.
Right.
But then you can't see, and then it's connected to another house that's built exactly the same way with steps and all of that stuff. But you can't really see what they do next door from their steps unless you're like me looking out of the window, and then you're below and can kind of look up and see what they're doing.
Right.
So, there's like a little plot of land in the front yard area. That could be a tree. It could be a little bit of grass. It could be a garden. I think my landlord was trying to put a garden in there.
Okay.
And he told me, you can pick whatever you want out of the garden because, it's healthier. And I'm like, yeah, but it is at street level in Bushwick. Like, no offense. But I'm not going to take my chances with is this a watermelon or a cucumber? What exactly? I'm not sure what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And he's like, tomatoes. And I'm like, see, this is why.
Yeah, I gotta challenge
I'm
him on that. Like, I'd rather have like the chemically induced but actually growing what they intend to grow stuff at my
exactly.
key food.
Right,
Whatever
exactly.
your
I want
experimentation is, the first time you've planted
you've
something in
yeah, you
Bushwick.
planted some things. And so but I don't know. I mean, I think now they're just growing herbs out of it, which is fine, except I see from the steps of the next door neighbor that when they clean out anything and they have a bunch of dirty water, they just throw it into our garden area. And
Wow.
yeah, and you can't see that from their vantage point because they don't have a window that is set back and can look out to see what everyone's
So it's
doing.
not malice, at least.
I don't think it's malice. I think it's just we're done with this dirty water. Throw it off of our property line into the next door yard. I mean, I don't know how malicious it is, but I know it is. This ain't ours, and they just toss it. Um, but yeah, there have been. I don't think my landlord really knows that that is going on. So yesterday, I just watched the neighbor shovel his stairs and then just throw the snow just in front, like in front of my window, my only view to the street. Just throw it in front of that little yard area, and I'm just like, "Hey, man, come on, bruh." Like my
Yo.
window's open. I'm sure he can hear me. I'm sure he was ignoring me. I was like, "Hey, bruh, I'd like to see."
I deserve light. I.
Yeah, but if he's looking down to see where the voice is coming from, he can't see me because he's flush with my window. So he can't see exactly where the voice is coming from.
Yo, real
Um,
talk. There was like a double homicide suicide this week over something like that. Like
I totally believe it.
yo,
I absolutely believe it.
like so.
That it doesn't happen more is a little shocking
Yeah,
to
I'm
me.
impressed. Yeah, it's just like this dude like shoveled snow onto like his neighbor's property, and he was like barking at him about it. He went inside, got a handgun, popped him and his wife, then went inside and shot himself when the cops got there
Yeah, no,
over
that
shoveling
absolutely makes
snow.
sense. I mean, do you remember that Rand Paul uh at some point hurt like he was rushed to the hospital, and I think maybe it was a dispute between him and his neighbor in a place wherever he's from with lots of land, but there was some sort of dispute at their property line. And I'm not going to say the neighbor stabbed him, but I feel like the neighbor stabbed him. I feel like it was something crazy like that, and that was fairly recently. And people were like, "Well, it's because Rand Paul has terrible policy ideas, and his politics is terrible." And a lot of people were like, "I mean, that's neither here nor there. I don't know if you know what it's like when you think someone is fucking with your property." It gets real ugly.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't think that was a thing elsewhere. Like if you got like
oh no, no, that's
20 acres,
absolutely.
yeah, like I didn't know that.
Mm-mm.
I've become aware that people still beef with it. I thought that was like a city thing because you're like, yo, I only got like 20 feet of front yard. You ain't taking them
No,
6 inches.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it's not necessarily about scarcity. It's about what you perceive as yours.
Yeah.
So it can be the tiniest yard in the world, but if you've taken ownership over a thing, that is it. It can be a large number of acreage, but if you've taken ownership over it and someone's tree is, you think, over your property line and looking dead, but you're not, you may have to cut a branch so it doesn't get on your property, but they're going to have to cut down the tree. That's on them because that's their property, even if there's not a fence. It's a lot.
That's real.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I'm not surprised that that happened over that.
Hey, there's beef.
Yeah.
My dad has a building where the building next to it, they have a window that can look into the backyard of his building, and it's like it's below like 15 feet, and there's like this weird rule in New York where it can't be there, right? Like there's like because it's like in an alleyway, so it's like considered like an invasion of privacy into
That's
their
fair.
alleyway. So if you built that building today, you couldn't put the window in. but the window was there from like 1930. So my dad got to eat it, right? So my dad told the dude, because he knew about the first rule, and the dude said, nah, dude, you just bought that building. Last 2 owners tried to tell me about that rule. I looked it up. You right if it's a new building, because it's an old building, I'm right. I get to keep my window. And ever since then, my dad and this dude are beefing. So, like,
Right.
my dad, like, anytime the dude asks him for anything, he's like, nah, B, all because of your window situation. Forget that. I ain't helping you with shit. You know what I mean? So my dad will, like, this building is, like, it's super small. Like, there's no backyard space. There's, like, very little front yard space. But it's like a long sidewalk. So my dad will drive over there in a pickup truck and unload his, like, snow plowing machine and plow his part of the sidewalk in like 2 seconds, just to watch that dude shovel for 30 minutes. Just to show him the difference. He also, like, purposely, like, built up a mock wall in front of the window. So, like, the guy gets like 2 inches of fresh air but can't look into the yard anyway. And I told my pop, like, yo, Pops, like, you don't even live in this house. Like, you got nothing, there's nothing you're protecting back there. He's like, I know Gastor's principle. You know what I mean?
It's the principality,
Yeah.
as a customer would say when he was faced with late fees at the adult video store where I worked at. It's the principality.
A lot of late fees in that industry?
It wasn't even, there could be a few. Yes, there could be a few. You would just eat them. You just eat it because it's not going to be like a lot. The problem is, you know, it's $2 per movie, and that's not a lot, except when you're getting like 6 movies.
I could have bought 3 books from babes from Texas my damn self. All right.
Yeah, but yeah, it's all about the principality. Yeah, so occasionally, I remember once my landlord asking me, he wanted to show me something in the corner of the front yard area where some sort of liquid had been continually poured into just like the very corner, but it's next to this property, you know, this other house. And he was just like, do you know anything about this? And I was like, no, I don't. And he's like, you haven't accidentally or anything like poured some sort of, and I'm like, no. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, have you ever seen me out here? Have you ever seen me out here? Like, let's be real. I've been in this property. I know you don't necessarily even want to, half the time you want to pretend I'm not down here, but I've been in this property since 2014. You trying to tell me, when have you seen me hanging out in the front? Let alone going out in the front and pouring something directly into the space that I also live in. And I'm like, and then once I was home and could see what the next door neighbors were doing, I'm like, oh, it's absolutely been them this whole time.
Look at that.
Like, yeah. I'm like, why are you gonna attack the person who cuts you a check every month?
I don't get it, man. I don't get it at all. I told you my tenants view me as like their long lost son. So they'll come at me with problems. They're like, did you see what this person put into your garbage yesterday? I'm like, I did not. It didn't affect me at all. I just threw out the trash, man. I'm like, well, they're not allowed. They were mixing the cans with the trash. I want you to know, Gas. So I took it out for you. I mean, you didn't have to do that. You pay me money every month, so I can do that for you. But I appreciate it. I can't stand when people do that to our house. Our house, okay. I'm glad you feel that way. You know, go with it. But just to be clear, you don't have to do any of those things, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah. You know, I'm not trying to rock a boat. I mean, I'm honestly just trying to slink in and out of this apartment whenever I need to. Otherwise, I don't want anyone knowing where I am. I don't know anything about the neighborhood. I don't know nothing. I know nothing. So, but yeah, I definitely, these next door neighbors, I'm just like, I don't know about these cats.
Oh man, you gotta love it. That is right. Shalewa is not Trey Songz. The neighbors do not know her name. All right, not at all.
Not at all.
Secret.
Not at all. Yeah, I mean, I had like that kind of window type issue because the place I lived in Atlanta before I moved to New York was a house I was renting from a friend, and the houses next to it, I mean, they're fairly close. They're like a driveway's width away from each other.
Right.
But windows are right there. And so, I mean, you just see into, if the windows are lined up right, if the kitchens are on opposite side of either house, but they are next to each other, your kitchen windows line up. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I guess you're just going to see me cooking these waffles naked then. I don't know what to tell
That's
you.
it, B. Ain't nothing wrong with
Get
that.
yeah, just I should get better curtains, but you also shouldn't be looking out your window that hard.
Know your place, all right?
No, everybody know their place.
Let's get into the news.
Yeah.
Starting off this week with some COVID news, we got the Biden administration announces direct vaccine shipments are going to pharmacies. That's right. It was announced on Tuesday that they will begin direct shipments of the corona vaccine to retail pharmacies starting next week, expanding points of access for Americans to receive shots as concerns about variants of the virus expand. Millions of Americans turn to their local pharmacies every day for their medicines, flu shots, and much more, and pharmacies are readily accessible in most communities, with most Americans living within 5 miles of a pharmacy. I didn't know that. Rock on. So yeah, the program will begin rolling out February 11th. We'll start at about 6,500 stores that will receive a total of 1 million doses before the eventual expansion. Rock on. So yeah, they're trying to make things happen out here in these streets. Vaccines are out there. We got pushes. You know what I mean? Go talk to
Yeah.
your local pharmacist.
Let's I let's also make sure that everyone working in one of these pharmacies is getting the proper break times that they're getting, because I do not want to roll up to my local CVS and get some ornery pharmacist who has to jab me in the arm. And either they don't know what they're doing, or they're not able to because they got to watch to see if someone's shoplifting, or they're restocking candy.
Yeah, right. You shouldn't be in charge of the
I want
corona
it to be,
vaccine and like restocking Ruffles. You know what I mean?
yeah, I want to make sure it's the people who are behind the plexiglass that are going to be doing it, and that they have enough alcohol wipes to wipe my shoulder to tink. You know what I mean? I just want to make sure that it's not the dude who is just on his phone while ringing you up.
Yeah, that's so wild. You'll get a corona
Yeah.
shot, and also you're gonna stock combos for some
Right.
That should not be the same person at all.
Mm-mm. That's all I want. I want to make sure that it's not, the same. I just, but it's also wild that you can get vaccinated and then also like shoplift
There
eyeshadow.
you
Like
go.
that's wild to me as well. That is an option for people.
Oh man, multitasking
Yeah.
the Shalewa Sharpe way, right there.
Yeah. Also, please pay for your eyeshadows. Just do it.
Only your eyeshadows. Everything else, free game. Go for it.
No. Get a gold eyeshadow, put it on your cheeks. Now it's highlighter. I don't know why everyone's buying all these separate things. It's the same powder, y'all. It's the same powder. I swear to you.
Word?
Take your blusher, add a little Vaseline to it, put it on your lips. I swear to you. I don't know. Maybe I was just broke as a child, but that's how I did makeup. I also didn't know much about makeup, and it didn't matter. It was the 80s. But now I just feel like you have to shellac so much on your face, and it's not all readily available. And again, the person that you want to ask about makeup is either giving a vaccine shot or printing out some photos for someone. It's the only place left that you can even print out photos.
Yeah,
there's so much happening.
I went to a CVS 2 weeks ago to get a prescription, and I bought like some juice or some. And I know when I went to the self-checkout, when I was leaving the machine, I had too many juices for like to take out my hand. So I was looking for the bags, and she looks at me And she's like, the bags. The first lady's like, yo, the bag's over there, but they're, they're 5 cents each or something. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll spring the 5 cents so I can hold all these bottles. It's not a problem. So
Right.
like I'm stacking up my stuff, and then like another CVS lady walks by and she's like, oh, you could just take the bag. And I'm like, how you hooking me up with a 5-cent plastic bag? Like, yo, that's the plug.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Just the way you look, just like how you look the other way when I find a lipstick shade that I'm not 100% sure about.
Yeah.
Or a new flavor of Oreo that I want to give a try, but I don't want a $3 give a try. I need you to look the other way when it's vaccine time.
That's it.
Let me just slide in there. You go on and stick. I'll come with my own. I'll already pre-wipe it for you. I'll come in a muscle shirt, pre-wipe, hit me right quick. I'm out. You'll never know.
Oh man! Order your War Report muscle shirts. Vaccine shot ready.
Each shirt comes with an alcohol swab.
Oh man! Daily COVID-19 vaccinations are far outpacing daily reported cases, but there's a catch, says CNN Health. The news sounds great. More COVID-19 vaccines doses have been administered. Then the number of U.S. COVID-19 cases have been reported. To date, 26.3 cases have been reported over the past year, and in less than 2 months, more than 26 million doses have been administered. But here's the issues. One, the number of corona infections may be up to 4 times higher than is currently reported for various reasons, whether it's underreporting and other gaps in the issue. Two, new highly contagious variants are spreading across the U.S., threatening to reinfect the people who have already had the virus. And only about 1.8% of the U.S. population has received both doses of COVID-19. So there is some good there, but there's also obviously like a lot of work to be done, a little work in progress. I just feel like CNN was on some like real like strict teacher shit here. Like, yo, they ain't want the government to shine. It was like, yo, listen, B, we doing numbers, 26 mil. They're like, nah, B.
Yeah, I think, and I'm absolutely thrilled with that. I need CNN to slide in all the time, just like, well, actually, like please, well, actually, whatever it is the government is saying
In fact,
to us.
you are the only white person that I'm allowed to say that. Well, you could well actually
right.
all the fuck you want, CNN, do it up.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, there are all of these other things, and if you don't talk about the other the variances and whatnot, someone will just read one stat and go with it. And I mean, I'm definitely guilty of that. I will absolutely read one stat and go with it, and I'm just like, well, that's how it is. And it's like, yeah, but that was like 4 years ago. So I for sure, give me all the information possible about
Big
it.
facts.
So
I'm appreciative of the work they're doing, and makes sense now. I saw the article was written by 2 women, so thank you for your work.
right. Yeah.
Speaking of COVID, Andrew Yang tests positive for COVID-19.
This guy will do anything to get elected. For those who don't know, Andrew Yang, of the Yang Gang fame, who tried to run for president before, and his big idea was giving everyone $1,000, what, a month or something, universal income.
Yeah.
That was his big push. And he is now running for mayor of New York City.
Yes, indeed.
So he's been doing the things that you do when you're running for mayor of New York City, but you don't actually know what is involved in the job of being mayor of New York City. You're just hoping this is a stepping stone to the presidency.
Oh man, his videos have been amazing. The bodega video was great. For those of y'all that haven't seen it, Andrew tries to show off how New York he is by shopping at what he claims to be his regular bodega, and he picks up his normal breakfast bodega items. Then he clumsily grabs 3 super expensive green teas that are never seen at a bodega. This is also by far the biggest bodega ever. It looked like a supermarket.
It's big. It's huge. It wasn't. That's not.
No way it was a bodega like that.
If you are out in other states where there's lots of driving, say it's like, I mean, in theory, it's the same if he had gone to, say, a racetrack, but like a quality racetrack where truckers go. That's a gas station. A quality racetrack gas station where truckers go, so they have bigger lanes and more to choose from.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as going to like the Shell station on the corner where they have everything crammed into. They have 2 doors to go in and pay for your gas, and the candy is above the motor oil, which is what most bodegas in New York look
Big
like.
time.
That's the size.
Yeah, like
So he went into like some sort of Hollywood bodega.
yeah, like I was fully expecting there to be somebody to ask if he needed help at this bodega. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like this ain't real. It's way too well lit. This is just too nice of a place. Yeah, he's been doing all the things wrong. He failed the basic New York question. They asked him what was his favorite basketball team, and he claimed like allegiance to both, and he like ribbed the Knicks, but he wouldn't quite like lean either way. And being real, like, you know, claim either one, but claim a team. Like, don't be like, oh, I want New York to win. So what the fuck is that nonsense? What is that?
He also, in an interview with the New York Times, I think they asked him how he was spending his, you know, his lockdown time. Where was his family? Because it turns out he's from New York, but he grew up. You'd never know. He grew up in like Westchester, I think, and also upstate New York.
Yeah.
And so he said that his family was at their property maybe in upstate New York, because he and his wife and their 2 kids were in an apartment in Manhattan. And can you imagine what that would be like in a 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan? Can you imagine what that would be like during the lockdown? I was like, bruh. Are you serious right now? Do you know what's been going on for the past year?
Bugging me.
Oh, yeah. I was just like, no. And I feel I don't know if I'm allowed to complain about him running, because you know what I mean? Like, I've been living in New York this time,
Okay.
and in this time of my life since 2013. So I've been here for a minute, right? But I don't pretend to understand the various ways that that New York has moved in the time that I've been gone, since I was born here but left when I was 8. So all I knew of that time was just my parents hated Ed Koch. That's all I knew. So, you know, I come back and I'm aware of mayors and what the city does to them and all that kind of stuff. But I still feel like, I haven't been here 10 years. I can't complain about the dude who's going to run for mayor yet, can I? And then he just keeps doing stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I can.
You most definitely
This guy ain't going to make it. Yeah, he's not going to make it.
So one shot when you said this time, I, for some reason, just like the energy you gave out made me think not like dates, but like this like universe, like the Spider-Verse. in
the various Shalewa New York multiverses in this lifetime, Erykah Badu style.
Oh man, but I yeah, too, like I feel you, because like this is my issue, like with Andrew, like I feel like he is not who he wants to be, and I would just like the guy that he is. Like, don't front like you the super street savvy New Yorker. Just be the Herbie Clowny dude you are, and I would be so much cooler with that guy. That guy seems chill. The guy that was trying to give me money running for president, I knew he wasn't gonna win, but I liked him. He seemed cool. Now you trying to be like street smart New Yorker, like, you know, you gonna. I fully expect him to try to talk to us about how to tie our Timbs later. Like, he's gonna do some nonsense.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna believe
It's a lot of that kind of energy.
Yeah.
It is that kind of energy, because it's like, all right, well, maybe the whole country wasn't interested, but New York, I know you. I've been to Lincoln Center. Like, that's not. Get out of here.
Oh man, I want to like him. I really do. He seems like a chill guy when he's being himself, but he's still like finding himself. I don't know what happened right there, but
and I don't know if it's in politics right now.
Nah, B.
I think maybe he just needs to have the ear of people who know how to maneuver in politics. If there's anything that I have found, is it's like maybe it's not time to bring in brand new folks. Maybe someone who's done a little something. I mean, student council, what'd you do? Like, help me out.
And when you find out what he did before, like it makes perfect sense. It seems him. He used to run like a SAT prep company. Like, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, he gives mad hyper substitute teacher
Yeah.
energy.
And I was like, I would be cool with that guy. I wouldn't want him necessarily like as my like teacher, but I
Yeah,
would
no,
hang
he's
out
a
with him.
substitute teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
right.
seems cool. Like, oh, at a bar, I want to bump into this dude. Yeah, he seems like he would have stories. I'd be cool with him. Probably can't bring
Right,
him to
he's
the
gonna
block,
pay.
but he'd be fun. Andrew, know your lane,
Yeah.
my G.
Yeah, but that said, please get a lot of rest, take some vitamin C.
Word, get better.
Yeah, oregano oil. Just listen to what your body tells you, and all of that stuff. I hope you get well. COVID's no joke, but stop going into bodegas that aren't bodegas. Real bodegas already have the vaccine in the air. It's a combination of just like grease and bravado, I think.
Listen, ain't a bodega cat die yet, all right?
Not a one.
Not one. Them dudes is chilling. All of them. Not a mad scene around them dudes. Good money. Oh man, it's discussing the stimulus package that we're waiting for here. Estimated 29 million people would lose out on stimulus payments under the proposal by the GOP. The Republicans made a counterproposal of the coronavirus relief package that was unveiled on Monday. 29 people would be left out. 29 million people, pardon me, would be left out in this version of it versus the current plan that's being pitched by Joe Biden. The GOP would like to cut off cash for individuals earning over $50,000 a year or couples earning over $100,000. And about 78% of families would qualify for the relief payment under the Republican proposal, while under Biden's 95% would. So this is kind of like the pitch they doing right now. You know what I mean? Where you at with this interview?
How do why do you want to be the bad guy? Tell me that, GOP people. Why do you want to be the bad guy? This is an unprecedented. Unfortunately, all of our precedents have been in the past year, but this is not anything that's happened to us in our lifetimes. Just give us the money.
Big facts.
Just give us money. It's truly what's holding a lot of stuff back. Just give the money. And why are you putting all of these weird restrictions on it? People are dying and more could at any point.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why you're just like, can we like cut it down?
Yeah,
But like 20 something percent. Like why? What does that do for you?
Yeah,
it does nothing for you. Just I don't understand why everyone is so hell bent on being the first half of the Christmas Carol. Why is everybody trying to be Scrooge up in this bitch?
Yeah, I couldn't get the energy behind this. I was reading it. I was like, yeah, I know that they think they're being sensible. They're like, yo, we're giving it to 78% of the people. By the same token, I know that 51,000 a year ain't enough to like beat COVID and quarantine. Like, be not.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not.
So yeah, I get the motivation, but this ain't the time for that. You know what I mean? This ain't a nitpicking moment.
Yeah.
Just, stick in your lane.
Well, here's the thing. If you want to take money from the middle class, lower class people who think that they're upper class, but they're actually middle class because none of the classes matter anymore. If you're trying to take money away from the little people, give them the money first. Let them have the money and then hurt them.
Okay.
But give us the money.
Okay.
and then perhaps we will figure out once we get the money. Trust me, once you get the money, you're going to figure out a way to keep getting the money or hold on to the money or keep you from getting my money.
Yeah, like let's get through
I mean,
this.
if you feel that strongly about your ability to get the money back, to take the money back from us, give it to us and then see if you get it back. How about that?
I dig it. That's right. You heard it. If you love
you
something,
like your
let it
chances
go.
on that one?
There you go.
Yeah, if you love something, let it go. If it returns to you, then it was meant to
There you
be.
go. Boom. It's a love
But I'm here to
story.
tell you, my money doesn't love you. So just give me my money so that we can be
Here we
together.
go. All of my money
'Cause
will
it
be
was
returning to Flight Club. You know what I mean? I will be buying some really, really fly sneakers. You will see them exclusively.
I guess that's one way to show love.
Meanwhile, Democrats are responding with Shalewa like energy and saying, fuck them. Democrats are moving ahead without Republicans on COVID relief. That's
Yeah,
right.
also fuck their couches. We don't have to listen to them. We went through all this trouble to get we lost a little bit of our lead in the House, yeah, but we still got one.
Right.
And then we managed to get a nail-biting, tie-breakery type of lead in the Senate, but we got it.
Bang. That's it. This is the time.
Fuck
This is
them.
what all
Who
that was
cares?
for. You know what I mean? Use
Yeah.
that energy, use that control, and see what you could do with it, and see what kind of headway you can make. I'm excited for this mainly because we've started posting our videos on YouTube, and we get really, really fun comments of support normally, but we also get like a random overzealous Republican. So I'm curious what
Oh boy.
those guys are gonna say. I'm reading all of your comments.
I'm sure that someone will have something to say, but I want to implore you, if you feel like you must rake me over the coals in the comments over my political views, please know that I don't care. I never read the comments. I'm a woman on the internet. I don't look at the comments for shit. And I'm an old woman. I probably don't even know how to find the comments. How about that? So if you want to yell at a middle-aged Black woman who's just out here trying to do her best in this economy, in a pandemic, that's on you.
On you only.
That's on you. You're a terrible person. But thanks for watching and listening.
I appreciate it. There you go. Hey, listen, my logic is
Mhm.
there are 350 million people here in this country alone.
Right.
If 180 million of y'all don't like me, guess what? I could still sell out a tour. You know what I mean? So
Right, yeah.
it's all good. You know what I mean? And being real, you could like me in every other way. I had a lovely racist fellow on Twitter recently.
Lovely racist fellow.
Very recently told me, hey, you're a genius storyteller, but I disagree with you on this issue. I was like, sir, I'm sure you have a Confederate flag somewhere in your home, and I think you have a lot to work on. All that said, keep streaming my album on Spotify.
Right, exactly. Look, hey man, enjoy the parts of me that you enjoy,
all it is.
and mute the parts of me that you don't like.
That's it,
I do it all the time. I do it all the time. I do it to people I know. You know what I mean? You don't have to sit through anything you don't want to sit
That's
through.
right. You think Shalewa likes all of my Memphis Bleak references? No, she does not.
I don't know. Well, actually, I do enjoy every Memphis Bleak mention, but I don't know half of the stuff what Gastor's talking about. It don't matter. It don't matter. I like him as a person, so I won't mute him.
That's all it is. That's all it is. If you received unemployment last year, you could be in for a surprise at tax time. That's right. Tens of millions of Americans collected unemployment benefits for at least some period of time last year due to the pandemic's hit on the economy. After the stress of losing their job and figuring out how much their unemployment check would cover, chances are good that taxes weren't on top of mind. Nevertheless, unemployment compensation is treated as taxable income, both by the IRS and by most states. Exceptions being Alabama, Alaska, Cali, Florida, Montana, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Penn, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, Washington, and Wyoming. That seemed like a lot of states.
That's a lot of states.
Y'all made that sound
I
like...
mean, how many states we got now? We still at 50?
Yeah, Jesus.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, if it, unlike a job, your tax withholding is up to you. So jobs allow you to decide how much is withheld, but they do withhold something. With unemployment, you are allowed to take the full check and make either quarterly or end of year payments, or have a portion of it taken up front with every check. And the majority of people seem to have chosen to have no withholding during this time, because obviously it was a scary ass long time of unemployment. So yeah, unfortunately, those people are gonna take a L, because
they'll just have to pay, and they'll have to, look, as someone who's had who's played a little bit with the IRS. You can set up like everything else, you can set up a payment plan.
That's it, B. Yo, real talk. I know people that use the IRS as a business loan. They'll be
oh no
because this is the thing, right? Like, and I don't want to put this too out there. Like, don't do this if you think you're smart, but your friends tell you you're not, because then you get in trouble. But most money that you owe IRS, if you don't pay it, because of like a misissue in your taxes, like you get like a 3% penalty for paying it. Like, hey, this money, we noticed you made an error. You're 500 short. We're gonna charge you 3% on that money for this amount of time it's been out. That rate is less than what most people would get if they borrowed the money from the bank or from a credit card. So if they know they need money, they'll purposely make that mistake in their taxes, keep that bread, do what they got to do with their hustle. And then when the letter come from the IRS a year or two later, all they're doing is paying 3% interest on that money. But by then, they've hopefully more than made that back. You know what I mean?
Okay, I cannot condone this.
Don't do that. Yeah, like, I'm just saying, don't do it. Wink, wink. But don't do that shit, you know?
Don't do that shit. Yo, do not do that shit. It's nice it's an option. I feel the way I do when I find out that retail people alter invoices or ring ups in the register so that there's extra money in the cash register, and then they take that at the end of the night. Boy, the first time I learned that was an option, I was just like, what? Like, my brain doesn't think of ways to stick it to the man. And so I didn't know that's how I feel right now. Just like, who realized that?
Ingenious
such a Pollyanna.
People. I ain't saying I don't know about it. I'm just saying all of my property is up to code now. Because of some great loans. Yeah, it's all paid back now.
Oh, Lord. Hi, everyone. You may be listening to the last war report.
I pay back every time, Shot. It's just, I don't feel like writing up a proposal and going to the bank and say, hey, listen, I need to do upgrades to this property. I just pay it back 6 months later at a 3% interest. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ. All right.
Boom.
Hey, man.
Heard it here first. I'm hooking y'all up. That's right. When the new Jordan Concords come out, you can buy two. One for you.
No, everyone stop listening to Gastor right now.
You can buy one for you, one for StockX to flip them next year.
We do not want to get listener mail from the Hooskow. Please do not.
I promise you, they're going to be worth more than the 3% hit you're going to take. You know what I mean? When you pay that loan back. That's all I'm saying.
We are not bailing or bonding any of you out. Especially because in order for us to do so, we would have to commit tax fraud.
Oh, man. In politics, Trump's legal team argues the Senate can't convict him. His speech is protected by the First Amendment. Huh? Former President Donald Trump's legal team argued on Tuesday he cannot be convicted by the Senate, A, because of the First Amendment, and B, because he's no longer in office, previewing what's likely to be one of the biggest points of contention during Trump's Senate impeachment trial that begins next week. Trump's came in with a squad. It had rolled out a 14-page response to the House's impeachment efforts on Tuesday, its first filings ahead of the trial. Trump's lawyers, Bruce Castor and David Schoen, keep those names in mind, because if they get this guy off, definitely hire them at the very least. They're effective at what they do, because this is very clearly the wrong thing. So if they figure it out, keep them in mind. Look them up on LinkedIn. Argued both that the Senate cannot vote to impeach Trump when he no longer holds the office, as well as the Trump speech about the election before the January 6th riots is protected by the First Amendment. Yeah, this is nonsense. I'm like I want to respect a part of this, right? Like you can't fire me after I got fired. Like you can't fire me twice. I get that part. I get that energy, but that's not what's happening here. This is like, yo, we coming after you because you getting a pension. Right? That's the vibe I got, right? Like you
Right.
don't work no more, but you get a fat pension. We don't want you getting that pension. We trying to get that bread back. And he's saying, nah, you can't fire me because I already been fired. Ha ha.
Yeah. Okay, you can't say why are you bringing up old shit? I'm not even the president anymore, because we are talking about things that happened while you were the president. So just because you don't have the job anymore doesn't mean you didn't do the things when you had the job. So that's already like, what kind of circles are we running? Also, I didn't know that he managed to find a defense team, because I just read yesterday maybe that he, like, a bunch of lawyers that were going to work for him just dipped, like, nah. Like, I'm not doing this.
Nobody wants that L on their record. Like, going into it, it's a losing thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I think the thing was the lawyers that he had before that left.
Right.
They left because what Trump wanted to do was concentrate on the false election claims in his defense of what they impeached him for. And so everyone who was with him before was just like, yeah, we shouldn't bring that up. That has kind of nothing to do with. And he's like, nope. We got to tell him. I mean, the whole election thing was false or whatever. So they all dipped out like yesterday. So that he even okay, the announcement of his new team came a day after he parted ways with 5 lawyers. 5 lawyers dipped out on him. Like, nah, deuces. And he got 2 more.
Nah, man, that's gotta suck. I've written 14-page papers at the last minute before. It's never fun. These dudes had to do that for Trump.
Yeah.
Man, I applaud these dudes right now. Now, I mean, they're going up against the world. And they're going to lose. We're going to see it publicly. But at least they are trying. Admittedly, I'm a little biased because the last name of one of the lawyers is close to my first name. I just thought I read my name in the CNN article. Once I get over that, I will be ruined for your failure. But I don't like their chances. But, you know what I mean? Seeing Gastor in the article on CNN got me hyped. But it's Gastor, so...
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, which guy? Oh, Gastor?
I was like, I made the news, my G. Like, nah, not at all. Not at all.
You were easily swayed, my friend.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that's wild, because I went to bed last night thinking, oh, I wonder what he gonna do. He ain't got no lawyers or nothing. I didn't know he managed to find 2 more. But oh wow, I can't see where this is going to go well for him. But then again, that man has defied every odd at this point.
Like,
right?
I feel like I want to see it happen. Like, this is like Trump's whole life is just constantly like LeBron James 3-1 down to the Warriors, and he keeps winning. Like every time I think it's done.
I know.
Nah.
But I feel like he may. He looked so dejected when they got on that plane to YMCA, when which, by the way, was the funniest visual on all of Inauguration Day. The visual of him just standing in front of that plane and waving while the lyrics of YMCA played, where it was just like, there's a place you can go, we have a place you can stay, it's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's like, where's he going? Where's he gonna go? That truly made me laugh like a hearty, and I hadn't really laughed at many things, lately, but boy, that set me off, where I was just like, oh my God, nobody here listens to the words of these songs.
can't let him pick it just because he vibes to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I honestly think it was just he heard that the Village People had a song called Macho Man and was just like, "That's
That's the
me." And
joint.
it's like, "Hey, do you know anything about the Village People though? You know what village they came
Yo,
from?"
real talk. I went
He's
to a wedding where the bride and groom, their wedding song was
uh-huh.
"Crazy" by CeeLo Green. They're like, yeah, we just really like the song. Like, I don't think that's the joint for this moment. Like, I rock with it too, but I'm just saying that's the wrong energy right now.
Yeah, that's not. You imagine just like, this is it. This is our life together. Let's start it with Crazy by Gnarls Barkley.
It's like, word? Really? Okay. Like, I don't think, like,
I remember when I lost my mind. What?
and
You and me together, baby.
I was blown away by. I don't think they heard the words for the first time until that moment, like on the floor. I'm like, yo,
That's
y'all didn't
so
y'all didn't do
funny.
rehearsals, like none of that. Like y'all was just jamming to the
They just
instrumental.
assumed they were just like, you love it, I love it, let's go with it. That's absolutely that would be I mean, I pay too much attention. Well, I don't pay too much attention to the words, but I mean, like, I would also be someone like my wedding song would be like "Get Low" or something, and I'd be like, "Yeah, no, I know," like it. I would be a little off for sure, but that still feels it just. I mean, it's called Crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't.
It's not even.
He's like, yeah, but he sings beautifully. Yes, about heartache. Like none of that.
Yes, yes, he does sing, and there are other songs that he has sung that
Yeah.
may be better for. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like I would mess around and pick the wrong Sam Cooke song. You know what I mean? I picked the John Legend song about him cheating, and I'm like, yeah. So you don't have to know, and I'm like, that's not really what you want
At all. At
you
all.
want to you want to dance with your dad to that one? Come on.
Oh man.
I don't even know how we got here. Anyway.
You gotta love it.
Even
Gotta
know.
love it.
Oh,
Deadly storm that dumped feet of snow across the Northeast. Takes aim at northern New England.
Gastor's father traveling the country on his machine, clearing up
Oh man, it
this
is.
massive snowstorm while still blaming his son Gastor.
My dad is tight out there right now with that machine, but he's doing it. You know what I mean? I appreciate it.
That's great.
Deadly winter storm is lingering in the Northeast the day after walloping parts of the region and the mid-Atlantic states, shutting down COVID-19 vaccination sites and leaving some areas blanketed in a feet of snow. I think that somebody paid off CNN to drop that little like shutting down COVID-19 situation in there. The government was like, yo, listen, we getting a lot of shit about this. I need you to make sure you mention this.
Do we now think that CNN's whole job is just to squeeze COVID into every news story?
Like, yo, B, just let them know, like, I'm trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's kind of like when a woman is a particular type of woman, an obnoxious woman, is pregnant for the first time, and she starts every sentence with, "Well, as a pregnant woman," it's like you are 2 months along.
Cut it out, lady. Cut it out.
Yeah, hush. Yeah, I have not been in a situation where it snowed nonstop for at least 36 hours, if not more. So that was interesting to see.
Yeah, it's been real. It's been real.
Yeah,
And
I've been comparing it to what it's like in a snow globe, and now that just has me thinking about the characters in snow globes. Do you know what I mean? Like, how did they feel inside their little houses or their little cars? Did they want to leave? And it was constantly snowing, and then when it finally stopped, they're like, great, I can get over to Kroger or whatever." And then someone shakes it again, and now they're like, now I'm dizzy and it's snowing again. I'm very concerned. I don't think we've really paid enough attention to the people living inside snow globes.
That's a target demo that the selection did not look at hard enough. You know what I mean? The slow globe population. You know what I mean?
And if you are having to explain what the snow is like to friends or relatives who live in an area where there is no snow and they don't have much dealings with it, use a snow globe. Everyone understands. It's like, oh, this is like a just shaken snow globe. Or this is a snow globe you've put down and it's just kind of eventually slowing down. Oh, it's all swirling around like you swung your arm around while you were shaking this. You know what I mean? It's really helped my conversations with my sister.
Oh man,
So,
effective talking point. Shalewa Sharpe.
thank you. That's what I'm here for.
Finally, Amazon unveils plans for an eye-catching Helix Tower at a new $2.5 billion headquarters location. An outdoor amphitheater, public plaza for farmers markets, and a 300-foot tall tower inspired by a double helix are among the latest design proposals for Amazon's new headquarters. The plans, made public and submitted to authorities for approval on Tuesday, will form the second phase of the tech giant's $2.5 million HQ2 project in Arlington County, Virginia. More than 3 years after Amazon announced that it was expanding beyond its current Seattle headquarters, construction at the Virginia site is now well underway. So everybody in New York, you dodged this in Astoria, Queens. They're just this is crazy.
Yeah. Also, we already have that weird beehive thing that people keep committing suicide off of. So I feel like that maybe this eye-catching, twisty corkscrew that they're planning is like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Also, if you are able to look this up, listeners, look up the visual on this tower, because it's a lot. It doesn't. If you've ever been in an office building, I'm trying to imagine what it's like to what are the offices? What do they look like inside this? Because it spirals up to a point.
Right.
But it's like, so who's on the top floor? Where are the bathrooms? Is there a break? How do I park? None of this makes any sense. And then they've got trees on it too. Like
I don't get it.
I don't know. Y'all, look, Virginia, y'all tell me, is this doable?
Yeah, B.
Let me know, Arlington County, Virginia. Is this a doable design? A big old upside down screw next to the water, covered in trees.
Like there comes a point where like you gotta know your lane. Like separate jobs, right? Like if you are someone that plays on a TI-82 calculator, you're not an artist. And this feels like it was designed by the dude that does calculations. Like he thought it was nice because it worked on SimCity, but he bringing it to real life, and it's not the place for that. You know, like, oh, we put trees on it. That don't make it naturey. Like none of this felt natural at all. Like this doesn't look like how trees should. The trees look mad. They're like, why are we here? Why are we up here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't even. It's not. It definitely speaks to a visionary who has not like checked his own mail in years. Do you know what I mean? Like people who are higher up who are just like, I've got big picture ideas and I don't deal with the details. I'm just like blah, 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 blah. And you don't even know the names of like the tens, like the dozens of people who are underneath you, making sure that your shoes are like shined or your clothes are clean or that the kind of matcha you like is available in the fridge. How are you supposed to get deliveries in this?
Yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to move all servers? How are you going to set up a server room? Is that the top of the corkscrew? Is that going to make the screw tip over? How do you open a window? You got to think about opening windows because this is a post-COVID world we're talking about. We got to open windows.
You imagine if like you're like HR, you're getting like weird complaints. You're like, yo, B, like, why are you not communicating with Carl from accounting? I was like, because I got an inner ear problem, okay? And every time I got to walk to that side of the building, I get dizzy, all right? I don't want to have it.
Yeah, come on.
This is real talk, Shalewa, when I first saw this picture, I thought of Bob Ross. I was just looking.
Because it's by the water?
Because of the trees. I was like, yo, this is the first time where Bob would be like, yo, there's a lot of happy accidents here. Like normally there's no accidents. All of this is accidents.
This may be an accident. Yeah.
Oh man, can't make it up sometimes. It is what it is. People wilding right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are a fan of the show, we would appreciate if you like to subscribe. Apple listeners always appreciate your ratings. So yeah, thank you for checking out the show. If you have any articles that you want us to cover, send them in. DM me and Shalewa at Silky Jumbo, at Gastor Almonte on Instagram or Twitter. We'll actually put it on the show and cover it, even shout you out afterwards. With all that said, my name is Gastor Almonte. I'm with the homie Shalewa Sharpe. This has been another War Report. Catch y'all next week. Peace.